Welcome back, Tigers! This is the next video in our Einstein Next Best Action series. Today we're going to learn how to limit the number of times a recommendation is shown to a user. Since we have a limit of 5,000 recommendations we can show users every month, this will help us stay under the limit. We will also learn how to add more filters to our recommendation strategy flow to limit recommendations based on the opportunity stage. Let's hop over to Salesforce and see how to configure our flows to limit our recommendations. Now, our first step here is to go to the recommendation strategy flow that we want to limit the repetitions for. If you don't know how to create this flow, we have two videos that we did where we showed you how to do predefined recommendations as well as on-the-fly recommendations. This flow is what we constructed during those videos. We can show you step by step how that all works. Now, this flow shows consulting products as a recommendation if those products do not exist on the opportunity, and it also shows support service products if they don't already exist on the opportunity. Now, our objective here is to limit the number of times that the support services and consulting products are going to show to the user. So our first step here is to add an action, and we will search for limit up here, and we will see that there's a limit repetitions action that's already here. You don't need to install anything for this. And then our collection variable is going to be our output recommendations collection variable. This is the collection variable that is automatically created whenever you create a recommendation strategy flow. Now here's where we set the recommendation repetition limits. In our predefined and on-the-fly recommendations, we didn't set up any actions on rejection. We're going to set those up today and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to leave this to say, if a user accepts or rejects an action from Einstein Next Best Action once within 90 days, I don't want to show these recommendations to that user again. So if they see a recommendation for a particular consulting product and they reject it, they're not going to see that recommendation again for another 90 days. You do have other options here. You can limit only the accepted responses or only limit the rejected responses. That is up to you. And then your last step here is to manually assign the variable and store it in the output recommendations collection variable. So this is where it's going to limit it. Now you'll click done here. You'll do a save as on your flow. We'll activate it. And now we're ready to test. Now before we test, we're gonna do a pit stop. We're gonna go to our opportunity record page. And we're going to edit the next best action section. And we're going to show reject option. I don't like that word. We'll click save. And now let's pop over to an opportunity. We can see that we do not see our reject options. We'll click refresh here. And now we do. So we didn't configure our rejection options to say anything special. Remember, you can configure those in the recommendation records or in your on-the-fly configurations, depending on which ones you created. So in our recommendations, we'll update the request pricing approval so you can see what that looks like. Do not request pricing approval, so we'll update this. We'll click save. And then if I refresh this, I can see that my rejection option has been updated. Now I can see that I have two consulting services that are being recommended, and I don't want to offer those on this opportunity. So I'm going to click do not submit and do not submit. And then I will refresh. And then you can see my consulting service recommendations are now gone. They are not going to show again to the user on this particular opportunity for another 90 days. Now, if I went to another opportunity, the consulting services should show to the user. Now, I will also decline the support services. I'll refresh this. And we can see we are no longer being presented with the support services. So that's how you limit the repetitions for your on-the-fly recommendations or your predefined recommendations. Now, our next step is to update our recommendation strategy to further refine when our recommendations are showing. It doesn't really make sense to show request final quote to a user when the stage is prospecting on an opportunity. So we're going to show you how you can go into your recommendation strategy flow, and we're going to further refine how our recommendations are showing based on the opportunity stage. All right, so we'll scroll down here, and underneath the user's role of Eastern Sales Team, I want to add a decision element because I only want to show the request pricing approval recommendation when the stage is qualification. And then I want to show the request final quote whenever the stage is proposal price quote. Now, down here, I'm doing my get opportunity. So I won't know the stage name if I try to query it from up here. So I'm just going to move this get up above my decision element up here. And then I will add a decision here. And this is going to check for the opportunity stage value. So our first one will be qualification. Our second one will be proposal price quote. And then we'll just change this to say all other stages. Now we'll move this puppy up here. This one over here. And then I'm going to copy and paste over here. Copy and paste over here. This one I will update to only show the request pricing approval. And then I don't have to make an update down there. This one is going to be for proposal price quote. We'll leave the recommendation for request final quote there. We'll update the name of this. Make sure it says proposal price quote. It's just easier when things are named perfectly. And then we'll change this to look for the recommendations that we're filtering for under the proposal price quote one. Let's scroll that up. Which is this one. Click done. We'll do a save as, save, activate, and now we're ready to test. We'll come over here to our opportunity and we'll do a refresh here. Now this is at stage qualification, so I expect to be able to see request pricing approval. If my stage was prospecting, I don't have any recommendations, so none are showing. That is perfect. If my stage is proposal price quote, then I should see request final quote, which I do. And then we also are limiting the repetitions. So if I say, no, I'm going to reject this recommendation and I refresh, I should see 0 recommendations. And that's it. Well, we've just learned how to limit the repetitions for our recommendations. Nice job. That's it. That's a wrap. Be sure to subscribe to Blue Tiger Academy so you don't miss out on the next video we are working on. We will show you how to force a browser refresh after your user completes the next best action recommendation. We are seeing users get confused by fields not getting updated right after they complete the action on the record. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you would like to see a video on a different Salesforce topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!